Welcome to the Scottish Formula 4 Championship, and the cars already on the grid with Jordan GRONKOWSKI and Jamie THORBURN leading the front row. Kenneth COWIE and Neil Broome a very impressive second row with Matthew Chisholm. Gotta say, Matthew Chisholm is one of these guys who is destined for big things, and this could be his year. He's already in the mix, running at the front, but he just needs that victory to unlock all the greatness that is stored up inside that young man. And even in these tricky conditions, but he's going to have his hands full because Jordan GRONKOWSKI and Jamie THORBURN, seasoned campaigners, and very fast they are. We wait for the lights to come on the bridge. We'll get everybody down towards turn one. We've also got Cameron Thompson, Logan Hanna, Steve Barlow and Creed in this race as well. We have got 5 lights on the bridge. Beatson's Building Supply bridge fully illuminated, and lights out down towards turn one we go. And a decent start by Jordan GRONKOWSKI there. He really did get a fabulous launch off the front row. He's under pressure though from Thorburn as they come in towards Duffus Dip. GRONKOWSKI defends his position. Thorburn thinks about making a move round the outside of Leslie's. That's a brave manoeuvre. And on the first lap, so much to lose there, especially being the first lap of the overall season. As we see further down, Matthew Chisholm going down a position. I didn't expect Chisholm to go down a position that soon, but he did as they go through. McIntyre's up the back straight towards Clark Corner on board. You can see just how difficult. Look at the amount of water off the driver's helmet that goes round the back of it there. So all that usually lands on the visor and then comes off the visor and goes round the back of the helmet. Not a lot that you can see there. That's Neil Broome as we head round towards the apron, right underneath the gearbox of somebody in front. Visibility, absolutely nothing in a Formula Ford. These little 1600 Formula Fords give us some fabulous racing, and also it's a fabulous start to your racing career, getting yourself in a single-seater race car with no slicks, no wings. And let's see how you get on with one of these things, an old traditional H-pattern gearbox as well. And it looks like Cameron Thompson is making manoeuvres now up through the field as well. The young GBR sensation. Let's see how he gets on. Only just old enough to drive one of these cars. So GBR again digging the depths of the karting world to try and find a good up-and-coming talent. And in Cameron Thompson, they may well have found that. Give him a little bit of time, and let's see if he gets on as Jamie THORBURN removes the floppy bollard. And that goes flying through there. Kenneth COWIE there in third place just now as we go up the back straight with Kenneth COWIE. Neil Broome letting it all hang out behind Matthew Chisholm. And Kenny COWIE, great to see him as well. Second row qualifying for Kenneth COWIE in the Megale, the 2008 spec Megale. And he is quite a late addition actually to the championship, and he is going to be a good addition as GRONKOWSKI comes in here. And if anything now, Jordan GRONKOWSKI starting to stretch his legs. He's putting a little bit of time between himself and Jamie THORBURN. And I got to say, it's quite surprising. Jamie THORBURN last year raced with Cliff Dempsey in the national championship, but this year not 100% sure what they're going to do with university exams and all sorts in the way. Well, not in the way, but you know what I mean. So will Jamie do a complete Scottish season with the SMRC, or will he be doing a part British, part Scottish? We will find out. But right now, no matter what he's doing, he's going to have to up his game because Jordan GRONKOWSKI starting to pull away. This has been in the pipeline for some time with Jordan GRONKOWSKI. He really is a man who tries so hard. The amount of effort he and his father put in towards that car, all the sponsors over it, every single one on Jordan's website and on his Facebook page with red and black lines. It's worth a little bit of a look because right now everything going car number 33's way as we come through Clark with Neil Broome. Neil Broome right underneath the rear wishbones on that Van Diemen. Look at the toe he gets up to Chisholm there, pulls out. Oh, that was close, that was almost rubbing wheels at the fastest point on the circuit. Neil Broome trying to pick up some sort of side draft NASCAR style there. I don't know if you can do that in open wheel cars, but he makes a manoeuvre, gets it by and sticks. That's a good one. Steve Barlow, the next man, having a little bit of a look at the back of Matthew Chisholm in that red 2000 spec Van Diemen. Back to Kenneth COWIE coming through Leslie's. We wait on the battle coming in. That is Cameron Thompson. Is it difficult to see from here? There's Cameron Thompson there ahead of Neil Broome. So all a little bit sketchy, these weather conditions right now, as Chisholm takes a big hunk off the sausage curb. That's Steve Barlow there, and just behind him we have got young Logan in her Ray car as well, and Logan just getting a little bit more seat time. We saw her last year right at the very end of the year, if you remember, and she raced in very similar conditions. A great struggle, but this is character building stuff, so let's see how young Logs gets on masters driving a Formula 4 in these tricky, horrible, cold, wet conditions. which we have here for the Armed Forces Appreciation Day at Knockhill Racing Circuit, as Broome comes in towards the hairpin. He's got this covered off now. Chisholm tries he may. He's far enough ahead that Chisholm's going to have to do a big late lunge there. And with being far enough ahead in the wet, the lunges don't really tend to happen because it's so easy to lock a brake up in these conditions. So easy. You only have to apply a couple of grams pressure too much to that braking pedal. Before you know it, the wheels lock up. Then you have to come off, and yeah, has a massive effect, and usually a disastrous effect on your driving. As we go back on board with Neil Broome, and doesn't he look pretty handy in this car just now? Nice and smooth as we see him coming through. We have seen him being flamboyant over the years, driving with the rear of the car more than the front of the car, but Neil seems to have tamed that down. But look at the water on his helmet as well. That white helmet showing just how dirty the actual track conditions are as well, and that's through cars going off the road and coming back on, dragging lots of dirt onto the circuit. We're getting a good slipstream again here. We're into Neil Broome's favourite overtaking place. He pops out, he's alongside Thompson, he makes a manoeuvre stick. Can he slow the car down? Yes, he can. Good overtake from Neil Broome, gets his apex as well. And Broome, he'll be pretty happy with that one, away up the main straight. So Neil making up good positions in this race. There was that steering wheel a little bit squint in that car. Has he had contact with something? Because that would drive a single-seater pilot or driver absolutely insane, having a squint steering wheel, as Kenneth COWIE comes through in the Mygale down the dip. Very lonely race for this man. We saw Kieran Haggerty racing that car last year when Kieran was a one-off in it. And let's hope that Kenneth COWIE isn't a one-off. Let's hope he can get a little bit more time in that car. So the next man on Neil Broome's radar is Creed in the number 20 Ray. There he goes through the corner, now heads towards the hairpin. And he's going to have to watch Neil Broome. You can see him tilting his head there, so obviously he's getting a little bit bothered with moisture on that visor. Maybe hasn't applied the correct rain repellent. I guarantee that will be getting put on for race number 2 as we go on board with him into the hairpin. Starting to make manoeuvres up towards the back of that number 20 Ray. Let's listen to this. That little 1600cc Ford engine screaming its heart out as he comes up the main straight there. And he's dragging on everybody with him, so everybody all following Neil Broome just now, because he seems to be the midfield pace setter. Jamie Thorburn, well, he's following the pace setter, and that's Jordan Gronkowski. Jordan comes through Clark Corner, majestic as ever in these conditions, making this look very easy. Jamie a little bit wide of his apex there, trying to maybe look for a little bit more grip in a wet weather line. That's Creed coming through chicane, and Neil Broome chased by Cameron Thompson, Matthew Chisholm, Steve Barlow and Logan Hanna. Barlow with a bit of a sideways moment leaving the corner. And this is where Creed's going to have to watch. He's going to have to drive ahead of him and not be looking in his mirrors, or Neil Broome is going to catch up pretty quickly. And before he knows it, he'll be under all sorts of pressure. And what you don't want to have to do in these conditions is try and drive that little bit too hard. It's oh so important. You're absolutely pinpoint. One man that's impressing me a lot here is behind Neil Broome, and that's Cameron Thompson. He's hanging in extremely well. Not easy to see that. And he's not making any mistakes. Oh, there's a problem for Creed. Straight through goes Neil Broome. That car effectively stopped on the main straight there. So, was that a mechanical? Is there something going wrong with that? We'll find out in a minute or two. But what a disaster for that car. It looks like he's actually still rolling in towards Duffy's Dip, but yeah, it is downhill. So we'll have to keep our eyes peeled further back for that one, as Thompson has a bit of a moment in the McIntyres, which lets Matthew Chisholm up. But Neil Broome, well, he's passed 3 cars now. He's passed 2 in a proper dogfight race, and he just got a gift here from Creed in number 20 as that car failed on the main straight again. Look at him looking the wrong way as he comes through the corner with the helmet to try and tilt the rain off the visor. As we go and look for Jordan Gronkowski flashing through at the top of Duffus over the apex curve. Just watch Jordan through the left-hander here. This car is absolutely on rails, and this has been coming, ladies and gentlemen. This has been coming for Jordan Gronkowski as we go back on board with Neil Broome again. Now what's he doing there? Was he adjusting his mirror? Late in the day for doing that, over the line. And is that the black car of Creed in the view of the hairpin in the background there? I think it possibly was. So whatever that was, that momentary glitch, Control-Alt-Delete on the dash and get the car going again. Creed back up to speed, but not up to this man's speed. This is Neil Broome, and everybody getting quicker and quicker towards the end of this race. Should mention that so far fastest lap is a 59.199 by Jordan Gronkowski, the only man to go sub 1 minute. and he's absolutely wiping everybody's nose in this just now as he crosses the line. Here comes Jamie Thorburn to cross the line now as we look back towards the hairpin, and it's Kenneth COWIE, and Kenneth some 18 seconds off the back of Jordan Gronkowski just now, and that is growing ever bigger through every lap of the race, every corner in fact, not just every lap. But yeah, 59.199, Jamie Thorburn's best lap of the race is 1:08, so yeah, quite some distance behind the fastest laps of Jordan Gronkowski. Jordan Gronkowski has set 2 laps sub 1 minute, so he is absolutely in a league of his own as Neil Broome goes through left-hander. Going to hang on a little bit there just to make sure he gets through, and you can see nice gentle steering movement as he goes down through Butchers here and doesn't want the car to go sideways. And look how much steering lock actually gets him through these tight corners as well. A very quick steering rack on the Ray, up towards Clark's, flashing lights to dash, turns the car in, we just come away at the wrong point there. You can see there's not a lot of lock gets applied through that steering wheel. Even to get through the tightest corner on his hairpin, not a great deal of lock on a single seater. You don't want to be sawing away with massive amounts of steering lock. So Jordan Gronkowski leads from this man here, car number 50, the Border Reaver, Jamie Thorburn. In fact, that wasn't Jamie Thorburn, that was Kenny COWIE. So Gronkowski leads from Thorburn, COWIE, Neil Broome, who we go on board with, ahead of Cameron Thompson, Matthew Chisholm, Logan Hanna, Steve Barlow in the 30 black car, ahead of Creed in the black number 20 car, who's just here for a one-off meeting as Broome comes in towards Duffus. And look, he's built a nice gap up behind him now, and Thompson's going to have to watch because Chisholm might have some sort of ideas about how this is going to unfold towards the business end of this race as we go past the marshals, who deserve a medal for standing out in these tricky cold conditions we've got here in early April. As again, Neil Broome getting a little bit excited on that loud pedal there, slides it back, and look at that as well. Young Logan has got past Steve Barlow somewhere. Now that's happened off camera, so Logan will be absolutely delighted with that and making moves now for the back of Matthew Chisholm. So she appears to have woken up at the end of this race and now turning in pretty good lap times as well for Logan Hanna as well, a 1:01.3. Considering the guys around her, she's actually faster than Matthew Chisholm, and she's also faster than Cameron Thompson, and she's faster than Neil Broome as well. So Logan's left it a little bit late, but better late than never. She can carry this form on into race number 2, but we've still got to end race number 1 as we come in towards Duffus Dip. And look at that, Logan looking up the inside of Chisholm, but unable to make that one stick. Chisholm had that one covered. That was quite a lunge from quite far back. As we pick up the number 33 Angel Wax backed Van Diemen that comes through the hairpin and up the main straight. Jordan Gronkowski has been faultless in this race, and he takes the first victory of the year in the Scottish Formula Ford 1600 Championship here at Knockhill Racing Circuit on the Armed Forces Appreciation Day. Jamie Thorburn comes home for a good second place in the Border Reavers number 50 car, and we will see Kenny COWIE in car number 96, the Magal, coming home in 3rd place. 3 different manufacturers litter the podium. Everybody else comes through as well for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. You can see them on the screen, and let's hand down for some post-race analysis from race number 1.
There he is, the young fresh face of Jamie Thorburn. How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. I don't know, almost had Jordan off the line. I thought I was going to get him into McIntyre's, but yeah, backed out of it, and I had nothing for him in the race. I mean, fair play, he was so fast. After a couple of laps, the gap was so big, I was like, I'm not going to catch him. So just focus on bringing it home. We've got a couple of little issues we need to sort out. I mean, we struggled all yesterday massively on the straights, and it's a bit better today, and we've accidentally put the front tyres on the wrong way around, so that didn't help too much. But yeah, apart from that, second is alright, something to build from, and yeah, we'll make some changes and see what we can do in race 2.
Place, we'll do it over here, but yeah, talk about that, because that was quite a wild race with Jamie as well.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, big thank you to Rotor Racing and Cardown Creameries for helping me get back behind the wheel this year. It was literally about a week ago I got the shout to come and drive, and to come up and get 3rd place in our first meeting, having been out of the seat for about 18 months, is just the dream come true. So really enjoyed it and glad to be back.
Excellent. Well, we'll get more of a chat with you throughout the afternoon. We're going to have to head off, guys. Thank you very much.
So race number 2, the cars on the grid, and look at that, weather conditions a little bit more favourable now. Having said that, Jordan Gronkowski, Jamie Thorburn on the front row with Kenny COWIE, Neil Broome, Cameron Thompson, Matthew Chisholm, Logan Hanna, Steve Barlow and Creed all the way at the back. Let's see how this one unfolds. The rain appears to have stopped a little bit, but it's still cold and windy. The 1 minute board has gone out, so we'll now get a 30-second board, followed by a 5-second board. And now the drivers, well, they'll already be in first gear. They'll be just sitting there, clutch, holding it on the brake, looking at the Beatson's building supply bridge. As soon as the 5-second board goes out, that's when the revs will start to rise and the little nerves in that left leg will start to flex round about the hip. As the muscle twitches, the lights coming on the bridge. We've got 4, we've got a full complement of lights. Lights out, very quick change around here. And Jordan Gronkowski, as we get a yellow flag on the pit wall there, Gronkowski spins one wheel, but it looked like Thorburn lit both wheels up there, and Thorburn has the jump down towards Duffus Dip. It was Jamie Thorburn who has made that one stick, and round he goes through Duffus Dip, through Leslie's, so whatever changes the border reavers made, it has worked, as he had a big wiggle going in towards turn 3 McIntyre's there, possibly locking up the back wheels under a downshift as he comes through with the rest of the pack all following. Everybody still on track at this point, but look at the pressure, and look at these two guys stretching away as Gronkowski has a look in towards Clark Corner. That's covered straight away by Jamie Thorburn. Through they come and head towards the hairpin. Look at the gap behind them. Neil Broome ahead of Kenny COWIE. So Kenny COWIE's gone down to 4th place, and Neil Broome will be happy with that one as we come in towards the hairpin. Gronkowski on the wrong side for the making overtaking manoeuvre. Wow, he goes round the outside on the brakes. Can he stop it and get to the apex? Yes, he can. What a fabulous, fabulous bit of overtaking there. And that is just confidence in the car. Jordan Gronkowski, he knows what his car can do. He's been in this position before. He likes the wet and he makes the manoeuvre stick going into the hairpin. He manages to get through and he holds on to the lead with a little bit of canny defending as well as we go over the crest of Duffus Dip and now through Leslie's. Gronkowski leads in the number 33 Angel Wax Van Diemen, and just look at the determination as he turns that car in these tricky cold wet damp conditions with a very slippery Knockhill racing circuit underneath him. He's got so much. Oh, and now Jamie Thorburn looks like he's picked up the bollard in his suspension there, if you saw that. But Gronkowski has so much confidence in that car as we go on board with Cameron Thompson up the back straight. Here's some fabulous onboards for the very young man. Turns in, quite an aggressive turn in there. That's a very karting-esque style. You see that, instead of gently coaxing the car into the corner, he absolutely throws the steering look at it, and it basically tells the car it's going there whether it likes it or not. At the hairpin, at the hairpin, at the hairpin. Wow. Good move. Logan Hanna slides up the inside of Matthew Chisholm. So the two young GBR stars starting to find their feet in these cars. Established people better watch out, because once these two former karters find their feet, well, they may just not see which way they went. As Gronkowski now starting to put a bit of time between himself and Jamie Thorburn in the number 50 car. Jamie Thorburn making a couple of little errors in this one. Didn't expect him to be taking sausage curb going through turn 3. And in turn, Neil Broome under big pressure now from Kenny COWIE in that Cardown Creamery backed Miguel SJ08. Through the chicane they come, and up the back straight they go. We don't seem to have Creed in this race. We seem to have lost him quite early. Now, was that his car that might have failed at the very beginning? As we go back on board with Cameron Thompson round towards the hairpin. Thompson in car number 26 here. Clear visor on that RI helmet for maximum visibility. Oh, Neil Broome, you're not stopping that one. Unfortunately, Neil runs very wide and gifts the corner to Kenny COWIE. Kenneth COWIE will be thank you very much for that one. And Neil Broome now under a bit of pressure from young Logan Hanna in car number 9 as they go over the crest of the hill. But look at this back at the front. Jordan Gronkowski just putting the mileage in and putting the distance between himself and Jamie Thorburn, and he will be absolutely loving this. Whether he's even looking in the mirrors, he does sometimes get a pit board. Now, I'm going to take that one back. I don't know if he's getting it from his dad today. But Jordan, well, there's no better position to be in when you're in a race, to just be pulling away at the front and being well within your limits. And watching the man behind you struggling just a little bit in the trickier conditions. Jamie Thorburn, a class act he is, just doesn't have an answer today for the flying 33 of Gronkowski as we come through the hairpin. Up the main straight, grab the gears. And Jordan, well, throughout the years he has been pretty unlucky with all sorts of silly things. Gear linkages breaking and auto-lec keys failing on him, which basically turn the car electrics off and render it useless. All these silly things. I think he's got all his bad luck out of his system. And for Jordan Gronkowski to win the first race of the day and the year. And look at this, so further back down. Whoa, good move. Logan Hanna up the inside of Matthew Chisholm. And she gives him absolutely nowhere to go there. Chisholm had two options, surrender or visit the gravel. And young Logan with a good manoeuvre there. Now, she took a little while to waking up in race number 1, but right now it looks like she's wide awake and gunning, using all the curb and a little bit more almost there though, and gunning for some good positions. That lets Chisholm get right back onto the gearbox of the young lady as they come through Clark and head towards the hairpin. Cameron Thompson a little bit further down. Have we missed a mistake from Cameron? We may have. At the start line, or the finish line, looking back towards the hairpin. Oh, Chisholm with a big lunge up the inside, and he makes that stick. So Logan Hannah gets a little bit of the same treatment back from Chisholm, but she's back on the inside. This is fabulous driving from this pair, nice and clean, but bare knuckle stuff. Toe to toe underneath the Beatson's Building Supply Bridge. They come with Logan Hannah on the inside and ahead of Matthew Chisholm. She makes that play stick and count as she goes over the crest of Duffus Dip, down through Leslie's and enters into turn 3, which is McIntyre. So Neil Broome will be watching all this battling behind her as Logan this time hits the curb on the inside. Wonder if these drivers are maybe just struggling with how slippery that track is there, and maybe having to counter that by turning in a little bit earlier, as Hannah now under big pressure from Chisholm as they come in towards Clark Corner. Not to be though, Chisholm unable to get past, and Steve Barlow now coming through, and Thompson just off the back as well, as we now look from the finish line back to see GRONKOWSKI and THORBURN coming through. The next cars all coming in. There's Cowie, there is Neil Broome, there goes Logan Hannah, gets through there. I thought Chisholm was about to make a manoeuvre, one of the famous Scott Fraser-esque last minute lunges up the inside, but not to be, as they cross the line now all together with Steve Barlow getting a grandstand view of some fabulous driving, and Cameron Thompson just desperate to be involved in that battle as they go on to another lap here at Knockhill in these tricky conditions, but the conditions a lot better for race number 2 than we had for race number 1. As through comes your race leader Jordan GRONKOWSKI ahead of JT Jamie Thorburn, and we go back round to the chicane to see Neil Broome coming through. Oh, big slide for Logan Hannah coming through the chicane there. You can see the hands coming out the top of the cockpit and correcting that. Neil Broome has a big moment at Clark, so it's all kicking off in the midfield on this lap as we go back towards the hairpin to see Kenneth COWIE coming in, and then we've got Neil Broome, then we've got Logan Hannah and Matthew Chisholm. Chisholm pops out, Hannah will see that. Oh, she's on the curb, and off goes Logan. No, dear, oh dear. What a shame for Logan Hannah, just going onto the curb on the way in there, and that is going to make that car basically lock the wheels up, and there's not going to be any stopping for her there. Thankfully the car has not reached the wreck itself. There'll be no damage on that, apart from the hoover of shame will reappear at the GBR garage, and young Logs, well, she'll be hoovering all the gravel out because it gets absolutely everywhere. But that was just a little bit of pressure from Matthew Chisholm there. He wasn't making a manoeuvre, he was just manoeuvring himself out so Logan would see the car in her mirrors, and unfortunately straight into the gravel she goes. Matthew Chisholm will be happy with that one. It saves him having to fight for the position. What he's got to do now is get his head down and try and keep Steve Barlow and Cameron Thompson at bay. As we see Jamie Thorburn crossing the line now, the marshals in attendance here, so there'll be full double wave yellows down at the hairpin, because that car, I've got to say, that's in a pretty precarious position. I wouldn't like to be racing and have that there. It's right in the firing line, as Cameron Thompson has just showed us from the onboard view. Not a great place for a car to be sitting, but Cameron Thompson now trying to get a slipstream. He's past the marshal's hut there, he's past the green flag. Can he get the slipstream on Barlow as they come up over the crest? Left or right, Cameron, where are you going? He pulls out towards the right hand side under the bridge. This is a big brave manoeuvre from the young man. Oh, through he goes, and he has that thing backing it into the corner like Marc Marquez on a MotoGP bike. Brilliant driving from the young man there. And yeah, thankfully managed to keep that one together as Kenneth COWIE does a great drift leaving the chicane up the back straight. So Cameron Thompson gets Steve Barlow at a pretty tricky overtaking place here at Knockhill, got to say that, but well done that man as we come through Clark Corner once again. There's Thompson and Steve Barlow just a little bit off the back this time as they head towards the hairpin. The leader's just gone through there. We pick back up behind Neil Broome. There comes Chisholm. Now what have the marshals done with this car at the hairpin? Have they managed to get it further away as we go on board with Cameron Thompson? Oh, he has a spin on the way in. Was that a lock-up on the down change? What a shame for Cameron Thompson. And that, all that hard work, unfortunately thrown away there at the hairpin. Bit of a half spin and away he goes. That was all getting a little bit messy on the way in as that car still at the hairpin in the gravel trap. whether he was being a little bit too cautious to try and make sure he didn't go off, and then unfortunately snatched a down change. But that car still sits in the gravel trap at the hairpin for the time being, as Jordan Gronkowski, I'll try and get that again, Jordan Gronkowski comes in towards the hairpin ahead of JT. Jamie Thorburn in the number 50 Border Reaver car. Jordan leaves the corner way ahead. Jamie looks like he's struggling with the front of that car. Looks like that car doesn't want to turn, and a bit of understeer as the Marshall's now back at that number 9 car of Logan Hannah. Logan, you can see her sitting on the tyre wall underneath the fuel tone sign, having nothing to do with that one. It's not an ideal situation to be trackside when there's live cars going around a live track, and the Marshall's deciding, discretion being the better part, they're having enough of that, they're getting away from it. And race direction, I'm pretty sure we'll be having a good long look at that, and they will make the correct decision no matter what, as Neil Broome comes under the Beatson's Building Supply Bridge. And we can see the top of Knockhill now as well. So the cloud base is starting to rise steadily throughout the course of the day, which is pretty good for us here. Temperature's not rising, but the cloud base is, as we wait for the car to come through chicane. And that would be Kenneth COWIE with a beautiful little drift there. Every time we've seen him on screen, that is how he's left the chicane. So one thing is good consistency as Chisholm comes through, more like a leap of faith than anything there, manages to land, and away up the back street he goes. Big gap back to Stevie B, and Cameron Thompson now, he'll be ruining that half spin he had at the hairpin, as over the line goes Jamie Thorburn. And we await for the rest of the guys to come through. We're at the business end of this race now, and we pick back up with Jordan Gronkowski. It's been a brilliant, brilliant day from him. He led the first race from start to finish and got the fastest lap in it. He had to fight in race number 2 for, well, a lap until he got to the hairpin, and then he pulled off a sensational manoeuvre on Jamie Thorburn where he went round the outside of him on the brakes and through the hairpin. Cracking stuff from Jordan. And apart from that, he's led every other lap. He's set the fastest lap of this race, and he is just in a different league from everybody, as Cameron Thompson isn't finished with Steve Barlow yet. Well, is Steve Barlow going to give him that place? Thompson goes round the outside. No! It's another moment for Cameron. It's all part of the learning game. The manoeuvre was on there as Jordan Gronkowski takes the checker flag. Fabulous stuff from Jordan. Second place for JT, car number 50, Jamie Thorburn. He won't be too happy with that one. He'll be scratching his head all the way back to Duns to figure out a remedy for this. Kenneth COWIE comes home in 3rd place. Neil Broome will take 4th. Matt Chisholm, Steve Barlow, the luckless Thompson, and Logan Hannah, and also Kyle Reid, commonly known as Creed. So there you go, some cracking Formula 4 racing. Once again, let's get some post-race reaction from the drivers and a delighted Jordan Gronkowski.
Gronkowski makes it 2 out of 2, and well, I could hear the screaming as you got in the car. You're absolutely loving life right now.
Absolutely, Duncan. It's yeah, as I said after the first race, it's been a long time, so it's you've got to savour these moments, and all the hard work that we put in, especially my dad over the winter, kind of paying off. So just massive thanks to him, massive thanks to all our sponsors. I would not be here without everybody you see here on the website, the car, all our race space fans. We've got a huge amount of support, which we're massively thankful for. So yeah, this one is for everyone that supports us. Thank you.
2 out of 2, buddy. Well done. Congratulations, Jamie Thorburn. 2 out of 2 as well. But it's second places today. It's going to be a tough championship, buddy.
Well, we don't know if we're coming to do the full thing. We were just coming to do round 1 as a warm-up for the British Championships, because I've not driven a car in 7 months and not been here for 2 and a bit years this way around. But I mean, fair play to Jordan, he drove amazing. The pass on around the outside and meet the hairpin kind of caught me by surprise. And yeah, he kind of disappeared off in the distance. I was trying a few things. We made setup changes for that one, and it was certainly better. But yeah, we're still lacking something somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. But yeah, if we come back, no doubt we'll come back stronger, and I can't wait to get stuck in summer.
Kenny, good stuff. A good 3rd place. Quite a lonely race, that one for you, though.
Yeah, other than the scrap at the start with Neil, which was a bit intense, but
Everything's always intense with Neil Broome, by the way.
that's the one. No, it was really, really good race, and again, just thank you so much to Rotor and to Cardown Creameries for being able to put me back behind the wheel again, because up till a week ago we didn't think we'd be here, so to even be here, never mind being on the podium, is just an absolute dream come true for us.
Well done, buddy. Let's grab on with that intensity himself. Neil Broome, well, was it an intense battle with Kenny there at the beginning?
Yeah, that was loads of fun. I got a better start this time and got the jump on Kenny. I knew he'd be coming through quick, so the first little bit was all defence. Then he came past, and I came back past him. But once he got past eventually, I think he's got the legs on me eventually, and I had to concede that one as defeat. But great fun.
Brilliant, buddy, brilliant. Congratulations. There you go, some cracking Formula 4 action. If you like any of these videos, why not like and subscribe? And hit the bell down below to receive email notifications about more stuff.